everyone, welcome to another Power Talk with Archana. Power Talk with Archana is your platform to grow your business. We help you turn your ideas into a brand. We create its presence to reach your target audience. Talking of design and implementing business operations, establishing policies that promote company culture and vision, overseeing operations of the company and work of the executives. Is a few among huge responsibility a chief operating officer shoulders for his organization. I have with me Mr. Sanjay Singhal. Sanjay is a part of my professional network and based in Bengaluru, India. Sanjay is the Chief Operating Officer, Dairy and Beverages at ITC Limited. He has served the best of corporates from Aditya Birla Group, GE Capital, Dabur India, to name a few. Let's give a very warm welcome to Sanjay Singhal. Hello, Sanjay. How are you doing today?
Hi, Archana, and thanks for your kind words. And I'm very happy to be here, and I hope that whatever I say will be of some use or some value to someone.
Absolutely. We're very, very delighted to have you with us, and I'm sure my audience are going to love this conversation. Absolutely looking forward to it, Sanjay. Great. So, as we start this journey, Sanjay, we know the role of a chief operating officer is it really catches huge focus in the organization and beyond. So, tell us one thing, I mean, what it really takes to be the chief operating officer par excellence.
Okay, so I don't know par excellence, but certainly what I can share with you and other people is that what I have experienced in the last 4 5 years, because before I joined here as a COO, I had done 2 or 3 roles of head of marketing in companies like Dabur or Aditya Birla Group.
Yeah.
And obviously, an attraction was that in this role, one was getting a much larger play in terms of handling a complete P&L and the responsibilities or whatever that come along with it. And
True.
there is a certain learning curve which comes. So, in terms of, I think what it does, I guess in a company like ITC, is that takes you on a very steep learning curve. And I guess that is why we are all here, that you want to learn something and contribute something later on. So I think the first learning curve really, or the first thing which it takes, is that you have to move out from your functional expertise. So
Yeah.
anyone who's moving to a business role, be it a CEO or business head, will come with some functional expertise. You may be an engineer, you may be a technical person, or you may be a marketeer, or you may be a finance person. So I think the
True.
most critical thing is that you have to get out. It is very difficult. You have to get out of your functional expertise, let's say as a marketing person, and try to appreciate, understand stuff you have not understood or not try to understand, like manufacturing. You're doing crores of buying equipment worth crores, so you to understand the technologies, you to understand the supply chain part of it or the R&D part of it. I think a very important part of the role also is that you may have a small team or a big team, but you also have to understand the HR part of it, because the
Yeah.
decisions in terms of people, everything rests with the chief operating officer. So how do you structure? How do you decide a structure? How do you get the sensitivities? And how do you reward and recognize people? And the last part is, I think, external relations, because as long as you're a functional head, I mean, you are pretty much dealing with your own agency partners or your internal stakeholders. But the moment you take a business role, the organization and your role and your business demands that you're able to also influence the external world in terms of industry associations, in terms
Yeah.
of competition, in terms of supplier networks. And of course, one cannot forget the regulatory and the government network, because those are very critical to move medium to long term agendas of your business in terms of, let's say, FSSAI in the food scenario, or in
True.
terms of, let's say, industry associations, or sometimes even government policy to that extent. So I think these are the things which are very, very interesting. Uh, and influencing also, what happens is that I have seen that typically in large organizations or small organizations, when you are a functional head, you always under the chhatra chhaya. You understand the word chhatra chhaya of your
Absolutely.
CEO. But beyond a certain point, when you're running a business, there is no more
Yeah.
this thing. So you are responsible for everything. So every responsibility ends with you, which is a very
Absolutely.
interesting thing. And so I think that is the 2 or 3 things which impact. I don't know if it makes sense for you.
Yeah, it does. It does. Absolutely. You're quite right there. Whenever you take up a new role, there's a lot of unlearning happens there. And, yeah, one definitely enjoys the process, but then all said and done with it does come with a lot of responsibilities, as you rightly said. Driving, with the Chhatra Chaya of your head, you become the Chhatra Chaya for the entire community that you completely kind of govern, rule, lead. Absolutely right. But you have been a marketer for so many years, considering the kind of stage we are in today, the completely VUCA world that we are trying to make a space in currently, what do you think are going to be the marketing trends 2021 going forward? Because there is a major havoc happening in that sector. What are your briefs that you give to your marketing teams?
Okay, so I mean, obviously, I think that all the COVID and COVID learnings we have all read and we have all attended seminars, and so I will not dwell on that a lot. But I'm saying that I will talk to you from a personal care and foods perspective,
Yeah,
because ITC, we are in the personal care space and we're in
yeah,
the food space. So I mean, there are obviously a lot of trends. Even if the vaccine, of course, the vaccine is here and tomorrow Mr. Modi ji will launch it, but
yeah.
basically even after the vaccine comes and we are able to live life normally in a few months time, obviously human beings have some learned behaviors. So some behaviors will go away, some behaviors and some mindsets may not change for a significant amount of time. So I guess that I mean, obviously awareness or preference for health, nutrition, sanitization, these are things which will stay as marks in our let's say in our human being or in our being as individuals for many years to come. So that is obvious. I mean, so we are seeing that, for example, for a brand like Savlon. I mean, obviously, these are long-term trends which are going to change basically. Or for healthy foods, for example, or people will become more aware about label reading. I mean,
Yeah,
typically people buy brands, but are people looking at the back of pack? Ki what am I exactly
that's
buying? So
true.
those are going to improve for sure. I think the second part is basically that thanks to a lot of work from home for a certain segment, I mean, obviously not the entire working population or the entire India had the, let's say, the privilege of being able to operate from home. People had to work, our factories were open, our sales team was working, and so on and so on. But for a certain set of SCCA or let's say white collar work or blue collar work, white collar workers who were used to working from home or studying from home, I think the home being the cocoon and people, let's say, spending more time with family and investing behind their homes in terms of the look and feel investments, in terms of spending more time will continue because
True.
people have realized the value of that, and obviously it is reflecting in furniture sales and quite good sale that we are seeing from a marketing perspective. I think the third thing is that obviously we as consumers and we as marketeers and manufacturers have seen the huge blip upward in terms of digital time being spent on digital mediums. That's
Yeah,
reflected in the amount of broadband consumption that's gone up some crazy times in the last few months for
yeah,
the telecom companies. And of course, in terms of digital marketing and digital, and of course, the entire Netflix and whatever stuff which is happening. So that is obviously not going to go away. And the interesting part, I think, is that it does not reflect. It's not only about, let's say, a young guy who anyway had a mobile and was surfing 12 hours. I think it
yeah.
is very interesting that even a housewife or a elderly audience in India, they have, because of this pandemic, they have become more digitally savvy. So I think that is going to continue and only get accelerated. I mean, in our world of FMCG, I mean, obviously we see it, our e-commerce and our sales of our brands have double tripled in the last 1 year versus the previous year. Or we have spent a lot of time and money in creating digital content, etc., etc. But the third interesting part is that even the retail has changed. So your
Yes,
neighborhood kirana, who was completely operating by pen and paper and phone, has
true.
developed one Google Sheets and is taking order from you or from a
Absolutely
society. So those are,
true.
I think, the digital is the third one. And I think the fourth one also, which I am finding as we as a marketer, when we develop communication, there are certain communications which are working and certain communications are not working. So at least in the current COVID scenario, probably you and I also experience that. And I see that from a marketing perspective also, that I mean, obviously people are in a certain mood and mentality right now. People
Right.
don't want to seem very boisterous or to seem very, very adventurous right now. So
Yeah.
communication is more grounded in human truth of today, which is work from home or certain human emotions, is making more impact
Yeah.
rather than, let's say, a very, very, let's say, cola like communication, which is ki jeet lo duniya type of that.
True.
Because
Yeah.
people want to, I mean, there is a real problem. And I would like to, let's say, highlight the problem, especially let us, I mean, honestly speaking, we feel from our research that the one consumer audience or the one demographic or whatever you may call, which has actually got the most impacted is the younger audience.
Yes, it
By that,
is.
I mean the age group of 15 to 20 or 12 to 20,
Yeah.
because those are people who typically can't go out and meet friends. College band ho gaye hain, universities band ho gaye hain. So
Yeah.
those are people for whom communication will play a very important role, and how marketeers are savvy enough and empathetic to the sort of tonality they are using is very, very important. So these are the four things I thought. One is the health and sanity, or second one is home cooking. I think the third one was digital. The fourth one is the impact of that on how we make products and how we market and how we make communication for our consumers.
Yeah, I totally loved it, Sanjay. I think your fourth point is really very captivating. The way it is communicated to the people today, I think that will really help us hold their attention. I think that we have to have that conservative marketing strategy at the moment, because people would want to know how this brand that they have been so very loyal to is really understanding their emotions. We have been able to capture that or not. Are we understanding? Have we been empathetic towards them, and taking our product to them with that in mind? I think you are very right there. Great. So Sanjay, tell me one thing. I mean, there are people, this situation has been such, people have lost their jobs, they've been sacked literally, so they have thought of plunging into entrepreneurship, or there are people who have been eyeing that C-suite executive profile. So for people who would want to transition from the mid management level to maybe eyeing one of the C-suite profiles, what is your advice to them? What are the things they should do, considering the kind of situation we are in today, to get that kind of a profile?
Okay, so I will now say something which is very different from what I said in the beginning, because I said that when you move into, let's say, a business role, a C-suite is more of a business or a larger role from a functional expertise. I said you
Yes.
also have to change, but I think that it is equally important that you don't change too much, because all of us have to remember that in our what will take you future in the future is what has taken brought you from here till here. So if you are
Yeah.
a marketer, what you will bring value to the C-suite is basically your marketing expertise. If you're an engineer, because ultimately you cannot be everything, but
True.
the one thing you have that has brought to you till your 5, 10, 15 years in your career, it will be the springboard for your future success. So that is
Absolutely.
very, very important. At the same time, obviously, it is very important, as I said, that one has to have an open mind, because I
Yeah.
think that ultimately, I mean, what differentiates a great business person, be it an entrepreneur or be it, let's say, a manager in an organization, at whatever level, is the sense of openness, the sense of creativity, and problem solving. And all of this come when people have an open mind, and I would say a curious mind. I mean,
True.
business models, products, communication, everything you can make if you have an open mind and you have a curious mind. So I think that
True.
is very, very important. Curiosity is damn important, because I have seen, I mean, people really transversing that functional expertise and becoming great business heads or businessmen once they have an open mind and they're open to listening to others, and then of
True.
course aggregating ideas and doing something about it.
Yeah.
So that's the other part. I think the third part is obviously that as the world changes in the next few years, and a lot of global experts and professors are saying that the future of work will not be what the work was like till now, because obviously even for organizations, I mean, it's opened up that you can take talent from anywhere. I can take a talent sitting in Bangalore from a small city. We can have an
Absolutely.
expert in US or in Brazil working on a project for us.
Yeah.
So obviously the competition set for any employee will change. And to that
True.
extent, all of us will have to widen our horizon. That's the third one. I think the fourth one, obviously, to take back to your question, is that the moment you move into a C-suite, it is important that you pretty much don't do much by yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, what I mean to that is that most people who are sitting in large organization in C-suite, they basically are paid, if I may be a slightly, let's say, slightly have a sense of humor here, to just say yes and just say yes and
Yeah.
no. So
Yeah.
typically, what is the senior C-suite person doing? There are proposals brought to him in meetings. He's saying, yes, we should do this or not do it.
Yeah.
He doesn't do manufacturing. So, however, that yes and no has to be led by a lot of setting examples.
Yeah.
Because
True.
if you are going to sit the judgment of someone, then you also, the responsibility is more on you, that you have to lead by example. So what I
True.
mean to say is that honestly, I think that you may be at whatever level in an organization or in your life, but you have to add value to what you are doing.
Absolutely.
Nobody, I mean, look at our prime minister, for example.
Yeah.
Nobody respects anyone beyond a certain point because he's a supervisor.
True.
People respect and follow people when that person is adding value to them or to their work. And that is, so you have to find as a C-suite person that yes, I may be the head of 500 people, but what is the value I'm adding to the business? So as I
Yeah.
said, the value could obviously be in terms of ideas, but then you have to also assume that if you have 20 people who are functional heads and a chief operating officer, each of them will be world-class engineer, world-class marketer.
True.
So how do you really add value from an external perspective, from an internal, helping them meander the way in their larger organization,
Wow.
or in terms of thinking ahead of the curve, that what is the next cat product category I can launch, what is the next tie-up I can do, what is the next
Yeah.
M&A I can do. So I thought these are, some of the things. And lastly, I would say that one critical thing in C-suite is that, when you are not as senior in organization or middle management, you can act in some ways. Someday you can come at 10:30 also.
Yeah.
दो लोग कुछ बोल देंगे. But the moment you're in a C-suite, you are 12 hours, 24 hours being observed by everyone in your team and in your
Wow.
larger organization.
Yeah.
And that puts a lot of responsibility,
True.
that you have to act, behave, and walk the talk, because
Yeah.
otherwise, you know what I mean. So that is, I think, another factor
Absolutely.
to consider.
Lovely. Totally loved it, Sanjay. I think you're very right. I think executive presence is it's all about, you have to walk the talk. You have to lead by example, and everybody's watching you. Exactly. It's all about your presence, in your absence, that really states the kind of leader you are. Amazing. Thank you so much, Sanjay. We literally love talking to you. I'm really tempted to speak, ask you one question, as we would like to wind up this conversation with you. Tell me one thing, Sanjay. What is that one thing that really, really makes you very proud of who you are today? One decision that you are really proud of.
What I feel proud of is basically that I've always tried to do different things.
Yeah.
So because everybody has different motivation, my motivation is to do something new, and not get stuck in a business which is going by itself, and
Yeah.
don't be a cog in the wheel. But that is
Wow.
for me. Everybody has a different way of doing it. So I'm
Yeah.
saying that, like in ITC also, my current role was 4 years back. The mandate was to build a business from zero. There was hardly anything. So it has meant a lot of work, but that excites me. Somebody else gets excited by something
Right.
else. So I think it comes back to the same point. As long as you're curious, you will grow in life and you will grow in business. That's all.
Lovely, lovely. Absolutely loved it, Sanjay. I think you're very right there. A curious mind really takes a person miles ahead. Thank you so much, Sanjay. Thanks a lot for spending your evening with us and talking to my audience. Thanks a lot. Have a wonderful, wonderful life
Okay.
ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you very much. Good day to you.
Thank you so much, Sanjay. Thanks. That was Sanjay Singhal for you, as he very rightly said. A curious mind is an innovative mind. As a business leader, it is important to lead by example. As you understand the power of your functional role, it is important to learn the nuances required to hold the portfolio of a C-suite executive. It is all about staying open-minded and embracing change and to learn to look at a bigger picture. I hope you really enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. Stay tuned for lots more coming on Power Talk with Ashna. We wish you all the best. Stay tuned for more.